Welcome back to the world of Viserai. Before we jump into the video, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Our next goal is 2,000 subscribers. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any cards I missed. First things first, before we jump into the 10 cards, we need to understand the new Viserai. Whenever you create one or more rune chant, banish the top card of your deck. That alone is a crazy powerful effect. I want to say anywhere from 50 to even more. 50% of the time, you're essentially getting a free card you can play from your banish zone, kind of making Viserai a 5 intellect hero, almost. Of course, you'll banish some misses, but when you're getting free cards, it's pretty insane. Then if you've created 3 or more rune chants this turn, traverse. Now notably, that's a mandatory effect, it doesn't say may, unlike the second form. Viserai Usurper. The first attack action card with Blood Debt you play each turn gets Go Again. Another crazy powerful ability. Giving Go Again to your first Blood Debt attack is kind of insane. I'm actually very surprised they put this as the hero text. The second part of his text, at the beginning of each end phase, if you've created or activated a gate to Irathiel this turn, you may traverse. Notably, that's a may effect. So you can stay as Viserai Usurper if you want to stay in this form and not go back to base form. I think this design is really going to open up a lot of skill expression, and being able to switch back and forth, choosing when the right time to do it is, when to stay on this form, I think is going to be very interesting. And I'm honestly just hyped for this hero. Let's jump into the cards. I just want to say this is not financial advice. These are just some cards that I think are pretty good, could be good in the new Viserai decks. I've excluded some more expensive cards like Succumb to Temptation and Machinations of Dominion. Those are kind of notable cards that, if you want to get it. But for the most part, these cards are going to be anywhere from 50 cents to maybe a little over $10, and I think are pretty good pickups. Let's jump into it. First, Embalm, a Majestic from Compendium. Now this has a really simple effect. You may play this from your banish zone. If you do, it gets Go Again, and then put an attack action card with Blood Debt from your graveyard to the bottom of the deck. I think Viserai is going to be a very explosive deck with having huge turns. I think Embalm will come into matchups that want to fatigue you, maybe that will go longer. Putting back one of your strongest cards is very powerful, and even though it puts it to the bottom of the deck, Viserai does have ways to search his deck. So if it goes to the bottom and then you shuffle your deck, now it's not at the bottom. Jack-O-Lantern. Now this is a pretty interesting card. Banish the top card of your deck. If it's a red, create a rune chant token. Now with this and Viserai's hero ability, you're banishing 2 cards off the top. Now this does have to hit a red to make the rune chant, so you kind of have to make sure you hit the red. This also comes in other colors. I don't think the yellow one will be playable. The blue one, maybe. But banishing 2 cards off the top of your deck, if you're hitting cards that you can play from your banish zone, can be a ton of value. Next up, Thousand Runeblood. When it attacks, create a rune chant token equal to the number of non-attack action cards you've played this turn. If 3 or more rune chants are created this way, this gets Go Again. If you can set this up to make 3 rune chants, and then this gets Go Again, you flip over to Usurper, you play another card that has Blood Debt, that has Go Again. This can be the start of a very powerful turn. I think Thousand Runeblood is definitely a good pickup. Next up, Malefic Incantation. I think this can be a very powerful card for setting up. We've seen this in the old Viserai, we've seen this in Vincent. Being able to play this and then make sure you have rune chants for your next 3 turns can be very powerful. Definitely a good pickup. It is a rare from Rosetta, but it's slowly depleting from the market. Make sure you have your copies, as this is a very powerful card. Next up, Grimoire of Felling Song. Now, for an offhand equipment, 1 resource to create a rune chant as an instant can be very powerful. If you play this, you're not going to be able to play his signature weapon. I think the only other weapon you can choose to play is Scepter of Pain. So there is some trade-off to playing this, but I think having a sip that makes a rune chant whenever you want essentially is very powerful. I think it's definitely a good pickup. And if you want to get the EA from Gem Pack, it's also not bad price, about 10 bucks, more or less. Next up, we got Vexing Quill Hand. This giving you 2 rune chants on demand is pretty powerful. We've seen decks like Viserai play this. Now, I'm sure Grasp of the Arknight will primarily be the arm piece of choice, but I'm thinking against certain heroes, certain matchups, you might want to have Vexing Quill Hand and Grimoire. Those 2 pieces of equipment alone can let you transform. Essentially, just by paying 1 resource, you'll get your 3 rune chants. So transforming on demand can be something that Viserai would love to do. Reduced to rune chant, a rare from Arcane Rising. It's kind of up there in terms of prices for a rare. I think this is a pretty good pickup, as it's essentially free to play if you control a rune chant and you create a rune chant, which will trigger Viserai's hero ability to banish a card. So not only are you getting defensive value and a rune chant out of this, you'll also be able to banish a card, which if you're hitting, it's going to get a ton of value. This is definitely a great pickup. Become the Arknight. Viserai specialization. Now this card kind of sucks. You're using 2 cards to get 1 card, but this is one of the few Flesh and Blood cards that lets you look through your deck, which is not a common effect in Flesh and Blood. Sometimes using 2 cards to get that 1 card that you really need can be very powerful, especially if you're getting a card like Mordred Tide that can give you a ton of rune chants. For a Viserai specialization, I think it goes without being said. Definitely make sure you have your playset of Become the Arknight. I'm going to count all these cards as one. These are essentially all the widespread cards. Deep Recesses of Existence is not a widespread card, but it kind of is. Make sure you have your playset of all of the widespread cards. Destruction, Ruin, Annihilation. I think these will definitely see play in the deck. They're very powerful cards with either disruption effects or effects that fuel your own engine. Dabble in Darkness. I think this card can be very powerful. If you're Viserai Usurper and this has Go Again, this can be anywhere from 2 to 4 value and you're banishing a card off the top of your deck. It's a block 3, very solid card. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any cards I miss. As always, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Peace.